Look at that one out there. Nobody's gonna believe that you've ever cast a check in a tournament if they're watching this. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your Lake Fork. I say guys, what if we got some gals out there, Cody Mays?
Yeah,
I mean, we might have some ladies. Okay, never mind. What's up, guys? Welcome back to your Lake Fork Guide. Today's gonna be the tournament challenge.
Yes.
I didn't even prep you for this. This is the tournament challenge. We're going to try to catch tournament fish on Lake Fork. There is a slot limit 16 to 24 inches. So you got to catch fish under 16 or over 24. Can't keep anything between 16 and 24. It's really weird. If you're not familiar with Lake Fork, it's really weird. All you guys that are watching this video are probably coming to the Sealy Outdoors Big Bass Splash this week. So you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. And I've kind of outdone myself, if I do say so. Myself. This is Cody Mays, folks at home.
What's up, guys?
Cody's been on the channel once before. We went to Lake Athens and told the story about his brother. Actually, I didn't plan this way. Couldn't be any better, though. This is September 11th.
It is September 11th.
And we've talked about this before, but Cody's brother actually lost his life serving in the Army as an EOD tech in Afghanistan. So, it's kind of funny because last time we filmed together, we were doing something kind of a memorial deal for your brother.
Yeah, it was actually Memorial Day.
It was, yep. And now here we are. Just so happened that we showed up on September 11th together. I didn't even realize it till I left the house this morning. So, yeah, September 11th. Now, Cody started fishing out here just within the last couple years, but has quickly become one of the more consistent tournament guys out here, I'd say. I mean, you've done a lot. Like, you had a lot. How much money did you say you won last year?
Almost 50,000.
Just fishing like normal weekend amateur level tournaments.
Yep, amateur tournaments. That's all I did.
$50,000, almost $50,000 in winnings in 2019. He's had a great year so far in 2020. I can't wait to see what the total is at the end of this year. But Cody has just done a phenomenal job of learning this lake and executing and catching fish and cashing checks. So I wanted to bring him out here because he knows more about specifically catching these slot fish on this lake for this tournament. A lot more about that than I do. I come out here and try to catch the biggest fish I can, and a lot of times, most of the time, those are slot fish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I catch a lot of those too. That's the curse of this lake. Where you gotta throw back a 5-pounder.
When you're tournament fishing and you're catching 5-pounders and getting your teeth kicked in, you know what I mean? It's a tough deal. But anyway, so me and Cody are gonna get after it today. We're gonna try to specifically target some tournament fish, give you guys some tips on how to catch tournament fish for this tournament coming up this weekend. So, y'all stay tuned. He makes fishing videos and he deserves to get his comeuppance somewhere.
Was your wife always supportive of you fishing all the time?
Yeah. I don't know if I got one or I got a little one. He's real little. I thought it was grass at first. Yeah, that's been a better color the last couple days, bro. Yeah. Like literally just the last couple days it's been a better color. Well, that's fish right there. Pretty dang close. Look at him. He's peeing. Stop peeing.
You're losing weight, bro.
Yeah. He's not gonna weigh as much if he keeps peeing. That might be a little bit too far under, but that's not gonna quite be that perfect 15 3/4 incher. But this is Cody's stretch of water. He said pick up a chatterbait, which is something I'm pretty familiar with. So we got a chatterbait and we got an under. If we were fishing a bag tournament for unders, this would be a good start.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bait stacked up right there. Some of it flew out of the water when my chatterbait hit. Might turn around and hit that little. Oh, get him, Cody. Oh, got him. Got one. Got one of them old bait chasers back there, son. Another little one. Another little one, guys. Little one, but hey, that's what you're targeting. So when you come out here for these tournaments on Lake Fork, you kind of gotta target these smaller size fish if you can. What's going on right now? This is kind of an early fall. Here we are, September 11th, like we said, and the weather's really cooling off. The water temps are cooling off. We might be in the 70s. Let me check the water temp real quick. So the water temps are actually all the way down to 80.7 degrees this morning, September 11th. Like, that's super low for around here this time of year. This is the coolest morning we've had in a while. We had a really, the air temp never got above 80 yesterday, and so I think that's why the water's really starting to cool off again. And man, what's happened is we've gone through turnover. And when we went through turnover, a lot of the bait fish got up on the bank, scattered, but kind of more out on the main lake. Now as this water's cooling off, these fish are just pulling into these pockets in these creeks and setting up into kind of the early part of a fall pattern. So we've got fish that are super shallow and they're active. That's the deal, they're active. They're getting after these bait fish. Like right there, we just saw one behind us flush some bait. So I ran to the back of the boat, threw back there, and lo and behold, caught one. So, but we're targeting these groups of bait fish that are super small. These bait fish are real small. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna bring in a lot of those 1 to 2 to 3 pound bass, which is exactly what you need. A 2 pound bass is what you're looking for when you're looking for under the slot fish. Now, we're going to talk later about trying to catch overs and all that stuff. We're going to cover that part in this tournament challenge vid too. But right now, we've got 2 bites, and it's 2 really good bites towards if we were fishing a 5-fish tournament stringer. They probably wouldn't get you checks in hourly tournaments, but I'll tell you what, we caught them right off the bat. And in that first hour at the Sealy, you never know what'll get a check. Sometimes less than a pound will get you a check in that first hour. So we're off to a good start as far as targeting tournament fish on Lake Fork. Still plenty of people that'll watch football.
Yeah. You know what scares me?
Oh, it's a bear. Oh, there we go. That dude. Oh, that's a hammer, dude. That's a hammer. Yeah, that's a hammer. That's so big. Get him in there, son. That's a big one, brother.
I bet that's an over.
It's close if it ain't. What do you think about that, folks at home? Look at that one right there. Well, he's close to an over. He's not quite there, but as you can see, apparently the rule to catching unders and overs is just grab your chatterbait and go to the back of the pocket where you see the bait running around, and you can do it. And kind of Lake Fork, that's, you know, we'll give her a little ear scratch. One of the things that makes Lake Fork special is you can just run into this accidentally, which is kind of what just happened. Yep. All right, we gave her a drink. We'll give you guys one more look at this awesome giant Lake Fork bass, man. The fall bite, I'm saying, like, this is fall. Like, we're literally way back in a pocket, in a fall pocket that they move into. They're chasing bait, and we're catching littles and bigs mixed up together. This is the early fall bite. We may have finally moved out of the transition, so what a fish. There we go. That might be the right under right there. That might be the right under. I got it. Grab it. Throw that on the board there, Mays. What do you think? Is that going to be right? He's going to be close, ain't he?
Right at it, yeah.
He's going to be a borderline. Let's see what he is.
He is.
Oh, he's perfect. He's just perfect. Just a precious little gem of an under. So there you go. So that is what literally, I mean, that is within a 16th. Yep. Of 16 inches. That's a 15 and 15, 16 inch fish. A little thinner. You'd obviously like him to have a little bit better belly, but guaranteed that gets you a check in the Sealy's. 100% you're going to get paid. With the way they pay out so far down in Sealy, that fish will get you paid almost any hour you want to take him, I would think. Yeah,
that's about a 2 1/4.
That's going to be a 2 1/4 pound fish, and he's going to get you a check. Yeah. That's an awesome fish. Got to give them an ear scratch, Cody Mays. They'll come back and see you when they get bigger if you do that right there. See what I'm saying? That's why you ain't catching nothing. You ain't been scratching enough ears, dog.
What's wrong with
you? Got to scratch their ears a little more.
It's just your morning.
Now, Cody, I've been the one getting lucky and getting the bites, but you know, this is an area that I know you've used a lot for good tournament success. We had our 22 kill tournament earlier this year that benefit you guys, you and Vic, your partner Vic. Y'all won that tournament, and I know y'all won it back here in this area.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, and I wanted to take a little moment to talk to you because I know, like we said earlier, like you haven't really been fishing. You haven't been fishing Lake Fork consistently for a very long time.
No, I haven't. Last 2 years, probably.
Last 2 years, and you've like I said, quickly within the first year become one of the better tournament anglers out here. You catch a lot of checks. You do really well in tournaments. And I know last year you caught a lot of big fish. And when you first started coming out here, you subscribed to the Fish Life app Lake Fork Premium Package.
I did.
And you still are subscribed to it, correct?
Yes.
So you use that app the best way. This is what I've said this before a few times, but what you did was you took that app and used it the very best way. You took the information on that app, you saw the patterns, you went and looked at those spots, fished those areas, and then on top of that, you went and duplicated those patterns. So what that Fish Life app did for you, it gave you an area, told you kind of what that area is, told you what baits they were biting in that area. You go there, experiment with that, study it, learn it, understand it, then you duplicate it in other areas of the lake, and lo and behold, it's made you one of the more money-winning tournament fishermen out here the last couple of years.
It really has. Yeah, because it opens your eyes to look at a variety of things throughout the whole year. But one thing that I had a big success on is your baits that you put on there is great. Use those baits, you will catch fish. Yeah. But the main thing is what are your confidence with? You need to fish what you are used to, because if you don't have that confidence level,
for sure,
that's just a small little deal that's going to hurt you.
So if you're a spinnerbait guy, and let's say like this spot's on the app, and this spot's been on the app a million. You learned about this code from the app, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So let's say we're on this spot, and I got this spot marked on there, and I say, hey, go to the back of the creek, fish the shallow grass edges with a chatterbait on the app. That's what the waypoint says. But if you're a spinnerbait guy, then throw your spinnerbait. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, throw the chatterbait, that's good, but if you're more confident with the spinnerbait, you can catch, like, fish aren't that smart. You know what I mean? Like, if you're confident with a spinnerbait, they'll bite a spinnerbait or a chatterbait on any given day. So that's a very good point, for sure. It's, you know, that Fish Life app is by far the most detailed and accurate and current information that's ever been offered in the world of bass fishing. At the same time, it's still up to you to make those decisions and execute. And sometimes duplicating that pattern in other areas, and sometimes changing the bait to what you're confident in, can help you execute on those patterns.
That's right. And another thing, if you don't mind me saying, is don't be afraid to push back, because in like the Sealy tournament, Berkeley tournament, any of these big tournaments, the bait is going to be so pressured.
Yeah,
you can back up 50 feet and whack them, and when the guys are riding the bank, ain't going to be doing nothing. So don't be afraid to adjust.
Well, and we've been doing that a little bit this morning. Now I've eased in here, and literally the only reason we're this close right now is because I got hung up on a stump right back there. And so I ended up kind of parallel on the bank for a second. I was working my way back out, but you know, every other fish catch that these guys have seen this morning, the first few fish we caught, we were off the bank and making really long casts. And on a lake like Fork, where they get all the pressure, and especially in the Sealy Outdoors tournament, if you guys are fishing that, where they get all that pressure, that can be a really key component, is giving those fish a little bit of room to be comfortable enough to bite your bait.
Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, Fish Life app. So just give me a brief, your opinion on the Fish Life app. Tell me what it's done for you.
Oh man, so we moved to the lake. I didn't know nothing about this lake. So the Fish Life app opened my eyes to where I could get started, because I was getting so discouraged because I wasn't catching any fish, because this lake will humble you.
Yeah, these fish are tough.
They are.
Lake Fork fish are tough. They're educated.
And don't be ashamed that you need the help. I will say that, because that's what it's here for. But yeah, just go to the spots that he gives you, and like you said, duplicate them. I mean, it helped me out to be a better fisherman by watching his videos, all of them, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, the seminars, the Fish Life app. Don't be ashamed to ask the questions and get help, because I didn't know nothing about lake fishing 3 years ago. All I've ever done is crappie, catfish, and we did bass fishing in ponds. And ponds to lakes is
that's a different world.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
But it did help me and my partner to be where we're at today.
Absolutely.
So,
well, brother, I can't thank you enough for you know, being as good of a, I guess, follower or fan as you guys have been. Y'all have been involved in everything, and I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you coming out with me today and getting out on the water and trying to help some of these guys with tournament tips. We're going to get more in depth as the day goes on about kind of what techniques we're doing, what type of areas we're looking for them in. But the number one thing you can do right now is go click on that link in that description and go subscribe to that Fish Life app Lake Fork Premium Package. And Cody's living proof. It is legit as it gets. I work really hard to try and do everything I can to help people catch more and bigger fish, and there's not a finer example of that I personally know of than Cody. Cody's a guy that was new to the lake, kind of new to the bass fishing world, and he has encompassed everything that we do. He watches all of our content, he subscribes to the app, and he executes. Now, I'm not taking the credit here, because at the end of the day, it's on you to make the right decisions and execute and know when and where and all that. Like, you've done an amazing job with all that, but we gave you all the tools to do it, and then you just took it and ran with it. And dude, we sure appreciate you being involved the way you have been and everything else. So it's awesome, brother. Awesome. I just picked the chatterbait back up because that wind had picked up. Good decision too. Oh, it's a whopper. Look at here, Cody Mays. That looks a lot like a bass. It looks so much like a bass. It's just a little bit. Get over there. Go, scoop him. Here you go. It did look a lot like a bass, just a little bit smaller.
That's all right. But I know you don't get it caught.
Oh yeah, there's a better fish. There's a better fish. I got him. He's just a slot. Oh, trashy slot fish there, Cody Mays. Woo! He's mad. It's one of them old trashy slot fish pods. So this is a interesting deal here. You're supposed to, if you see this big cable hanging out of this fish, and you got another little deal right here, you're supposed to get the information off this thing right here. We're going to try and clean it off. But Texas Parks and Wildlife is conducting a tracking study where they tagged a bunch of fish. They're tracking their movements. So we just caught this. We're going to get the information off here, send that to Texas Parks and Wildlife, and they're going to release a study after they completed their findings about fish movements in Lake Fork and how tournament pressure affects them, and just a lot of different good information, more information for us as bass fishermen. So we'll definitely help them out with that. That's pretty cool. We caught one of the tracker fish. Oh, Tracker Jacker. You ever watch Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Oh, Tracker Jacker right there. He stung at chatterbait, I know that. You know, Emmett Smith used to take ballet for footwork.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, there we go. Maybe. No, I don't need a net, no. No, not a net. It ain't no baby.
That's another...
Barely in the slot.
Yeah,
That'd be one of the ones that would irritate you on tournament day.
Yeah.
He might not be, dude. He might be another perfect one. Stay down. He's a hunchback kind of.
Yeah.
He's gonna be just barely.
Barely.
He was almost perfect. There you go. That one would have broke your heart. He's like an 1/8 inch over the 16-inch mark, but another chatterbait fish. We moved over a pocket or two and kind of duplicated the pattern. Awesome. Good stuff. Get him. Attaboy, Mays. Don't monkey this up, Cody Mays. This might be your only chance today the way it's going. Dude, that might be another one that's going to be right on the... Dude, come on. Oh, yeah, he's
right at 15 and a half.
Yes. And that's got a little girth to him. I bet you that one right there, that's probably that'd be real close to getting you a check in the Sealy. I bet that's another check. So here we are. So there's another one. This one's right at 16. And we've literally been out here for about 2.5 hours at this point. We didn't start till about 8. We've been out here about 2.5 hours. And that's 2 pretty for sure checks. Almost caught an over. And it had another one that was just barely over 16. So I can see why you do good in tournaments. You're around the right ones, my man.
Try. Sometimes it's not always the case, but
right.
But I'm gonna try your deal here. I'm gonna do the.
He'll come back and see you when he gets bigger. There it is. Good job. Well, guys, if you see me and Cody have been having I've been having a pretty good morning. But to be honest, we're fishing water that Cody's been using in his tournaments. I've been lucky and been getting the bites this morning, but it could have just as easily been Cody. Now, Cody, like we said earlier, man, you've had just a tremendous amount of success in these tournaments out here with this kind of funky slot, 16 to 24 inches. It makes a tournament fisherman have to kind of approach things differently. And some of these folks are going to come out here this weekend for the Big Bass Splash. And some of you guys maybe fish some of the same trails and tournaments that Cody may fish, and y'all may see him out here. But you've done so well, I wanted to kind of sit you down and pick your brain. Just kind of tell us briefly, like, in general, what is it that you change, or what's your mindset? How do you specifically target these under the slot or over the slot fish? Because I know for me, this isn't something I ever have to think about being a guide out here.
Well, it just comes down to personal preference. What I like to fish and what y'all like to fish is 2 totally different things probably, but I like to fish brush, structure, pond dams, humps, stuff like that. So what I'll do is the night before, even days before the tournament, I'll be looking at the map, figuring out how I'm going to plan my day out, pick which spots I'm going to go to. And the main thing is in the tournaments is you don't want to spend too much time on a spot. So you want to find your spots that are easy.
You got to be real efficient.
Right.
Got to be real efficient. Right. Maximize your time during the day during the tournament, because you're on a ticking clock in a tournament.
Right. Yeah. Right. And the good thing is you need to pick baits that will catch small fish and big fish.
So that's really what I wanted to ask you. Is there, like, do you downsize? Do you go more finesse? Do you maybe throw smaller baits to try and target under the slot fish, or what's your thought process on targeting or, like you just maybe alluded to, you may have already kind of answered this or started to, do you pick baits where you feel confident that you might catch a real big one, but you're going to catch the small ones?
Yes, yeah. So like drop shot, I mean, that's a perfect example.
Right. It does catch giants, but it catches a lot of smaller fish.
It does, and going a lot smaller on baits. I mean, a big fish will still eat a 1/4 ounce 3/8 shaky head as well.
Sure.
You know, chatterbait, that's another great one. I caught 3 overs in tournaments on Lake Fork last year with just a chatterbait.
Well, and as we saw today, it'll also catch that 15 3/4 incher. We caught a couple of them today on a chatterbait that were the right size.
Right. So your main thing is just need to pick the baits that you can target both with. The only thing difference is to me, your smaller fish like more of a movement. It catches their eye to me. A bigger fish is more lazy. So if you're going to target the smaller fish, you need to work it a little bit different than you do for the bigger fish.
So like if you've got a drop shot, you put a little more hand action, a little more vibration, and that's going to tend to get more bites from the smaller fish.
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's how we go about it. The bigger fish, you do a more bigger explosion of a shake, and then let it sit. Because what I've found on the bigger fish, they're lazy.
Yeah, they are.
They don't want to chase nothing, and that's probably why they're so big.
They're just like we are. The bigger and fatter and older we get, the less we want to chase anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
do you?
They don't know.
But like, 15 years ago, I liked running.
Yeah.
This time of year, guys, we've kind of seen what's going on. These fish are they're really bait fish oriented, which as we get to fall, that's just kind of how things work. Right now it's a little bit difficult because everything's real spread out, because even though we had a good cool morning this morning, it did make some more fish show up around that bait and made some more fish more active around that bait. We only fished, you guys only saw us fish for about 2.5 hours this morning. That was it. And so all these fish we're catching in a short period of time, but those bait fish are scattered out, even out towards the main lake, in those coves, scattered throughout them. They're not isolated on channels, humps, point. There's nothing that they're really isolating on. Everything's kind of spread out, but the bait fish are up on the bank. The bass are pushing shallow on the bank, following the bait around, and we never did catch more than one fish in a spot. It was all single fish, and they were all scattered out. So basically what I'm telling you guys for the pattern right now, it is locate the bait fish, the types of coves, the type of banks that are holding massive amounts of bait fish, and then just cover water within those areas. Now, that's really easy for me to say, and there's a whole lot of miles of shoreline out here on Lake Fork to try and figure out where these groups of bait fish are. Or you just go subscribe to the Fish Life app, Lake Fork Premium Package, and you'll know the areas that have been holding bait right now. Right, Cody?
That's right, man.
You know all about it, dude.
I do. Don't mess up.
So we had a monthly contest last year. For Big Bass of the Month using the app for our app users. This guy won 2 of them, right? You won 2?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he won 2 Big Bass of the Month using the Fish Life app last year. That was great. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught that you caught using the app?
It was 12, a little over 12.
See what I'm saying, folks? The guy started fishing the lake last year, and he caught a 12-pounder on it.
Yep.
It's not just the app. Cody does a great job of executing. I cannot take all the credit, because not everybody's going to catch a 12-pounder. Not everybody's going to catch the Big Bass of the Month twice like you did. So you're doing the maximum, you're getting the maximum good out of the app, using it the way you are, and then executing with your fishing ability. So 100% kudos to you, man. Listen, dude, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it, buddy.
And I know the viewers that are going to be tournament fishing on Lake Fork sure appreciate your insight, because, man, you've had a tremendous amount of success in your first couple of years out here tournament fishing, and I couldn't be happier and prouder for you. And one more thing that we've got to throw in there, man, we always have to do this on this channel, but man, I sincerely appreciate your family's sacrifice. Like we said at the beginning of the video, Cody's brother Cody Mays gave his life serving this country in Afghanistan with the U.S. Army, and we're always, every one of us from my end, will always be indebted to your family, brother.
Appreciate
really
it.
well. Yes, sir. My man. Thank you. Well, man, what a guy Cody Mays is. We sure appreciate him coming on here. Hey, more importantly than that, we really appreciate you guys watching today. We certainly hope that some of the things we talked about and showed you guys today can help you. You've got a good idea of what the current patterns are on Lake Fork. Looking at the extended forecast, we're filming this a week before the tournament starts, exactly the Friday before. So I don't really think anything's going to change tremendously within the patterns, because the weather pattern's pretty consistent and stable throughout the rest of the week right now. Now, I reserve my right to retract that statement, because we all know in Texas the weather can change at a moment's notice. But as of right now, I think if you guys find this shallow bite tends to really be better right now, if you guys can go out and find some of these areas holding the massive amounts of bait fish and be efficient and cover a lot of water within those areas, you should have a good chance to catch some really good tournament fish and hopefully even cash some checks. Hey, if y'all do, man, drop us a comment after the tournament. Come back to the video, drop us a comment, let us know if anything that we've done has helped you guys succeed. We would sure appreciate knowing that what we're doing is helping you guys, because at the end of the day, when I started this YouTube channel, my whole deal when I started really doing a YouTube channel was I wanted to be the guy that helped people, that went more in depth and gave more useful information to help people catch more and bigger fish than anybody else. And even though we don't have a real big channel by any means, we're pretty small in the YouTube world. We're pretty small in all worlds, really. But I'm really proud of the work that we've done and some of the fish that we've been able to help people catch, that people have come back and said, hey, you taught me this, you taught me this, and it resulted in this, just like Cody was talking about earlier, catching a 12-pounder, all the success he's had, and we were able to help him along the way through the video content and the Fish Life app. So it's just been an honor to be in the boat with Cody Mays. Once again, it's the second time we've done it. I really enjoyed my time with him, and like I said, thank you guys for watching. Good luck in the tournament this week, and we'll see you guys next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide. What do you got, Dave? What have you caught? You got a fish watered up in grass, man? You got a stick watered up in grass. Well, yeah, it had all that mushiness, all that grass on it. Nobody's gonna believe that you've ever cashed a check in a tournament if they're watching this. Nobody watching this is gonna believe that you've ever caught anything before.
I'm trying to show my track.
Yeah.